Hello everyone, this is IronhideX giving you a World of Warships video. In this video I'm going to be going over the Japanese battleships. I'm actually going to do some Amagi, Tier 8 gameplay and whatnot, but first let's actually go over the tech tree. Now I've played every ship in the battleship tech tree other than the Yamato. As you see, I'm up to the Amagi here. So, to start off the grind, what are the battleships like? Everybody wants to know, what's the battleships like? What's the cruisers like? What's the destroyers like? On all the different nations. As of yet, the only battleships in game are the Japanese battleships. They're going to be adding the US battleships soon. Right now the classes are American carriers, American destroyers, American cruisers, and Japanese battleships, Japanese cruisers, and Japanese destroyers. Each one has their pros and cons and pluses and minuses and all that. But like I said, we're going to be going over the battleships. That's what I get asked about the most. And since I have a Tier 8, which is the second highest currently in-game battleship, I'll give you some insight what you can expect. First up, the Katori, the Tier 1 cruiser you'll start off with. Really, I'm not even going to go over this one too much. It's a Tier 1, you'll be out of it in no time. What I remember, it was fine. Both the Tier 1s can kill each other fairly easily. There's no real problem. Chikuma, I really didn't care for that much. It was kind of slow and the guns were awkward on it. But again, you'll be grinding out of them very, very quickly. So where the line really starts is, well, the battleship line anyways, does start at the Kawachi. Also, anybody watching, if I mispronounce any of these names, sorry, you just have to deal with it. I'm horrible at pronouncing the Japanese ship names. This is the Kawachi. Playing this ship, you're going to have some people really like it and some really hate it. The biggest thing with this ship is that it's, well, two things that really hinder this vessel. One, it has short range. Looking at when you upgrade it even, it only has a 9.8 kilometer shooting range, which is abysmal because like the cruisers at Tier 3 can shoot farther than you can even. So it has that minus, but it does get a lot of guns. It has a total of 6 main turrets with double guns each. You could put, as you see on the ship here, there's these two on either side though, so you're actually only going to be able to put 4 turrets on target at any one time, or 8 shots. But at Tier 3, I mean, you're going to obliterate most things if you can manage to get into range and hit them. Another big problem with the Kawachi is that it's very, very slow. You see its max speed is only 22 knots. So when you add in the slow speed, in addition to the low range, it can be a challenging ship to play sometimes. But on the plus side, you've got 38,000 hit points, which is far, far more than any other Tier 3 ship. And your guns are 305mm guns, so you know if you get into range, you'll obliterate any other Tier 3s and a lot of Tier 4s. So that's the Kawachi. Armor value, it's got 6 to 305mm of armor. It's an okay ship. Some people hate it, like I said, but I thought it was alright. The Myogi, that's up next. At Tier 4 is the Myogi Battle Cruiser. When fully upgraded, this thing's got 45,700 hit points, and finally some decent range. It has a 15.3 kilometer range. So you'll outrange most Tier 4 cruisers by 3 kilometers. Most of the cruisers have about a 12 kilometer range at Tier 4 anyway, sorry. And you upgrade to 356mm guns. Pros and cons of this ship. Very, very fast for a battleship and very maneuverable for a battleship. The cons being it's only got 3 gun mounts. You see the 3 gun mounts here. That's all it's got, and so it can only put out 6 shots on target. That's an extremely limiting thing for this. You have to be dead on with your aim to really do well in this ship. You just missing a broadside, one which is easy to do in this ship because you only got 6 shells. but when you do miss, it hurts a lot more, you know, because it's just... Anyway, you'll be relying on your speed in this ship. You see the armor's much worse than the Kawachi. It's only 203 millimeters max. This thing tends to have a fairly big citadel right here under the smokestacks. If you're ever wondering where to shoot battleships and whatnot, you want to hit what in-game is called citadels. The citadel ship, you want to hit the magazines and the boiler room. And so pretty much aim under the smokestacks near the waterline here, and you'll hit a citadel with the boiler room, or you can aim under the actual turrets near the waterline, and those are you'll hit magazine detonations and whatnot. And those are the citadel hits. That's the big hits that you want, you know. This thing, even though it's only got 6 turrets or 6 guns on 3 turrets, if you are facing other tier 4 like cruisers and whatnot, you should still decimate them, just because you've got so much hit points and so much more armor than they have, at least. If you go up against other Myogis, it's all going to be about who shoots the best and who maneuvers the best. You see, it's got 15.3 kilometers. Its rate of fire is 2 rounds a minute, so you know that's pretty much on par with battleships. They definitely do not reload quick, so your aim is extremely important. Moving on out to the Myogi, this is where the battleship line, in my opinion, really starts to get really good. The Kongo. This thing is an excellent battleship. Or you know what? All of them after the Kongo are awesome. No complaints. They're all great. With the Kongo, you pretty much keep the Myogi's speed and whatnot, but you get a 4-turret, 8-gun broadside. Additionally, your range is increased to 21.2 kilometers. It's one of the farthest firing battleships in the game currently. Fully upgraded, it ends up with 54,100 hit points and 356 millimeter guns. I mean, this is a great battleship. Even though it's tier 5, this is not like tanks. A tier 5 here can still fight a tier 6 and a tier 7 head on, you know, slug it out, and could still potentially win. It comes down to who maneuvers the best, who shoots the best. Your aim is so important with battleships because of your reloads. You see, this thing's reload is 2 rounds a minute, just like the Myogi, and that's fully upgraded. It's only 1.8 with the stock guns. So your aim is extremely important. But the Kongo is an excellent ship. 203 millimeters same armor as the Myogi. Got all your little secondaries. You finally get decent AA. Another thing I should point out is the Kawachi and the Myogi, the tier 3 and 4, have virtually no anti-aircraft defense at all. So planes are a huge issue for those 2 ships. With the Kongo, you finally get some decent AA. You've got 16 AA mounts, and most, like, of an Independence, a tier 5 carrier, planes going after you, you should be able to down a couple of them at least. So they're going to pay for it. But still, you want to be preemptive when you try to dodge torpedoes and whatnot. So overall, Kongo, it's very fast, it's maneuverable, long-range guns. Again, where to shoot it, under the smokestacks, under the magazines, under the gun turrets. That's pretty much universal with most ships. The Kongo is an excellent ship. Moving on, we go to the Fuso. This is kind of like the Cleveland in that it's extremely strong for its tier. The Fuso is an extremely dangerous ship to anything on the water. Anything. From the Yamamoto down, nothing will ignore you in the Fuso. And the reason why is because you have 6 main turrets, each with 2 guns apiece. You'll spit out a 12-shell, 360 millimeter broadside. And because of that, you can really do a lot of damage in this. Fully upgraded, it comes with 57,100 hit points. It has from 6 to 305 millimeters of armor, so it's the most heavily armored battleship other than the Kawachi that you've had so far. It is excellent anti-aircraft defense with 48 AA guns once it's fully upgraded. And it has a range of 21.8 kilometers. This thing is a threat to everything on the ocean. There's nothing this thing will face in any tier that it's not a threat to. So this thing can definitely compete. I had a lot of fun in my Fuso, and it's, I think, probably one of the better ships in the game at the moment. I'm not sure what else to cover about the Fuso, just that it's a blast to play. It is kind of slow. I think what its max speed is 25 knots, and you know, from the Kongo's 30 knots to this thing's 25, it may not seem like a big deal, but in game you definitely notice it, and it's definitely an issue. So this thing is a little slow. Additionally, it turns like a pig, so avoiding those torpedoes and whatnot is definitely harder in the Fuso. But you've got the armor and hit points. You could take a couple of torp hits. And anything that gets you within, 21.8 kilometers of you can have a bad day. After the Fuso comes the Nagato, the Tier 7 battleship. This thing feels a lot like a bigger Kongo. It's like a bigger Kongo, but it's more heavily armored. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 305 millimeters of armor. 65,000 hit points. It's got 4 turrets, but finally, after having the same guns for the last few ships, you finally get the 16-inch guns. You get 410 millimeter guns. They're in double turrets with 4 turrets total in the ship, so you can put out an 8-gun broadside up to a range of 20.5 miles. The Nagato it feels a little more tankier than the other battleships. It can take damage really well, and it's got almost as much hit points as the Tier 8. This thing is also in the Fuso that it's not very fast. You see 26 knots is its maximum speed. So, it feels a little slow, and it definitely turns like a pig. So, preempting those torpedo bombers incoming and whatnot, and destroyers and evasive action before they're on top of you is extremely important, because this thing turns really slow, and you're going to need all the reaction time you can possibly get. The one thing you're going to miss from the Fuso is your AA, your anti-aircraft fire. You went from 48 guns down to only 20. This thing definitely does not have as good an AA as the Fuso does. But you get 16-inch guns, you get well amount of armor, tons of hit points, and the 20-point whatever range. So this thing, again, can compete with anything. It may not spit out as much shells as the Fuso does, but they're bigger caliber. So when you get those Citadel hits, they're bigger, and you can really do some damage. With this thing, also, you have a higher shell velocity versus the Kongo and the Fuso. So if I'm driving this, I actually want to try to stay at a longer range versus those battleships, just because I can more accurately fire on them from extreme distance. Whereas like the Fuso, when it shoots out to 20 kilometers, it's kind of like a shotgun. And I mean, this kind of is too, but it's not as bad, and your shells have a quicker flight time. Excuse me. So it's just easier to shoot at long range. And like I said, the Fuso's a threat, so if you get in close to that Fuso with his 12-gun broadside, he's got 4 more shells than you each shot, and you got pretty much the same reload. So you want to try to stay at range with this and fight from range. Overall, good ship. Like I said, after the Kongo, they're all great. Now moving on to the Amagi. This is the prince of battleships at the moment. This thing comes fully loaded with 66,300 hit points. You lose some armor. You got anywhere from 6 to 254 millimeters of armor. You have a range of 19.9 kilometers, and now you have 5 double-gunned 16-inch guns. You could put out a 10-shell broadside of 16-inch guns, and they will wreck ships. I have one-shot Fusos, I have one-shot Kongos, and Nagatos, and either earlier today I one-shot another Amagi by getting multiple Citadel hits in one strike. I mean, this thing can really pump it out, and pretty much you'll find that almost all the battleships after the Kongo have about the same reload, or after the Myogi. It's like 30 seconds. You can fire your big guns about every 30 seconds. The Amagi, however, changes up where you lose a little armor over the Nagato, but you massively gain speed and maneuverability and a really great broadside. Also, you finally get your anti-aircraft fire back. Now at tier 8, you know, facing Lexingtons and whatnot, having that good AA is very important. And this thing gets 56 anti-aircraft guns. Extremely effective. This thing's anti-aircraft will open up at long range, and they will shred. Like, seriously, it'll shred planes. A lot of the better carrier drivers out there, they want to launch their torps real close to you. That way you have a hard time avoiding them. Well, when they do that, these things, I mean, they're going to lose their squadron pretty much. It's that good. It's much quicker than the other, than the Fuso and the Nagato. It goes 30 knots, which for a battleship is extremely quick. It turns well. It has the high velocity guns of the Nagato, but just more of them. It has got the standard 19.9, you know, most battleships about 20 kilometer range, other than the tier 10, which has a 26 kilometer range. Of all the battleships, this one feels the most powerful. Of all of them that I've played, it feels the most dangerous, it feels the most powerful. Extremely dangerous ship. Nothing in the game will ignore you in this, even Yamamoto's. You're going to be a prime suspect for them just because you can do so much damage. So we went over the battleships. Now let's go over a couple other things. You get these things called upgrades. Once you get your commander, or sorry, not your commander, but your service record here. Once you get up to, I think, level 6. Yeah, at level 6 you can unlock the upgrades. Now by the time you have the Amagi and whatnot, you'll already be at level 6. So don't worry about that. But what you get with the upgrades is you can put these little modules. Like if you're from World of Tanks, I'm sure you're familiar with a gun rammer and etc. etc. Kind of the same concept, though I feel these are, you can more specialize your ship and whatnot, and I prefer this system. And I also prefer the way the crew is handled here. On my Amagi, I run the main battery modification 1, which gives you pretty much 20% chance of damage to your main guns, because losing a turret in battle really sucks. Then I put on the gun fire control system modification 1, which increases the accuracy of your guns, which is super important when you're shooting out to 20 kilometers. I know some people take the main battery modification 2, which increases your reload speed. But I would rather shoot much more accurately, 2 seconds slower, than having that extra 2 seconds. What good is that extra 2 seconds if you can't hit what you're aiming at? So I would definitely go with the gunfire control system mod 1. After that, I go with damage control, which just gives you a flat minus 5% chance of fire and 3% chance of flooding, because flooding and fire is bad, and you don't want to flood or be on fire. Steering gears modification 2 gives you 20% rudder shift time. Pretty much means your rudder will move back and forth quicker, and anything you can do in a battleship to turn faster is a really, really good thing. This, I feel, is definitely the way to go on this one. Now for this one here, maximum acquisition range, I'm pretty sure just means the range when something is lit, you can actually tell what it is. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Yeah, it just gives you 20% range where you can see enemy ships after they're lit and whatnot, so you can tell what they are. The other one you can choose is the concealment system, which gives you minus 10% detectability. The reason why I went with target acquisition is just because the concealment on these battleships is so bad that 10% concealment just doesn't seem worth it. Surface detectability range on this is 17.3 kilometers. I mean, so, you know, anything that gets within range to shoot you is going to spot you. It's not like a destroyer, so I don't really focus on concealment or trying to hide. I mean, I'm in a battleship. Now for the commander. This is how the commanders are set up. This is like pretty much your whole crew. I really like what they did here. There's different perks you can choose, and some of them are kind of class specific, like defensive fire. If you're on a cruiser and you take this perk, it improves your anti-aircraft ability that you get. Like battleships, our ability is our repair work. We can actually repair damage we take, and heal ourselves from non-critical damage. So this speeds that up. That's this repair work skill here. You have your smoke screen for destroyers. You know, you get situational awareness, which if you're from tanks, it's pretty much 6 cents. That's what that is. All these different perks and whatnot. And I just like how they've done this. So on my Amagi, which is the same crew I've been transferring between ships since the Myogi. I have basic firing training, which is minus 10% reloading time to secondary armament and 10% to AA engagement area, which is good. You know, anytime I can shoot down planes before they get to me is great. And in a battleship, you're going to be targeted by enemy torp bombers and dive bombers a lot. So that's really good. Basics of survivability, which gives you minus 15% repair time. High alert, which is minus 10% the reloading time of your damage control party, which is extremely important on a battleship. Aiming expertise. This one is a huge thing for battleships because their guns turn really slow. And this gives you a zero, for battleships anyways, it will give you a 0.7 degree per second aiming speed of your guns. Very important. I consider it a must-have on battleships. Another one, repair work. This one, another one I believe is a must-have for battleships. It gives you 20% to combat capability recovery time and a minus 10% to skill preparation time for your heal ability that you get. Very important. And you see I've got 3 more available, and I'm about to have 4. And when the 4th one pops, I think I'll probably end up getting advanced firing training just for that additional 20%, or I may get vigilance, which lets you spot incoming torpedoes at 20% greater range. So when they're fired from destroyers, you'll see them farther out, which gives you more time to react. I'm not sure which one I'm going to take yet, but if I do another video, I'll let you know. So that's the dock, the port and whatnot, and I went through the battleships and I told you the pros and cons of each one. Like I said, this one's a faster battleship, not quite as heavily armored, devastating firepower. It feels much more accurate than the other battleships. Currently my favorite ship in the game. Where I'm at on the lines, I've got the Amagi, I've got the what I call the Mutt, the Tier 6 destroyer, which I'll cover the destroyers at another time. I'm too disheartened to do that right now with those. Going up the Japanese cruiser line, I'm just at the Kuma at the moment. I have the Tier 7 Pensacola cruiser. I've got the Tier 6 Saipan, and the ship that I'm going to keep, even though I've grinded past it, is the Cleveland because it's extremely good ship. I mean, it's ridiculously good, and so I'm probably going to always keep the Cleveland. Again, this is a closed beta, however, so like it says on the screen, work in progress. Everything's subject to change. I'm going to be trying to do videos, and if something changes, I'll let you know. So I'm going to end this, and let's actually see some in-game play of the Amagi. So I can show off some high-tier battleship gameplay, and I'll go over some of the basics of how to do said thing, how to shoot, how to move, how to do all these different things. So let's check that out. Excuse me. So here we are in the Amagi on Fault Line map. On this map, I tend to play the 1, 2, 3 lines. Just because at the beginning of the match, the destroyers normally will hit up C, and you're just too big and slow to maneuver in C. And B, there's too many and on B cap, there's too many battleships that will be in range of you for a battleship to survive in B. So really, the only way you can really go, in my opinion, on this map in this mode is the 1, 2, 3 towards the A line. And like a fool, I had HE loaded. I sometimes forget to swap. I mean, I remember after my first shot because they look different. Send up my scout plane just because I'm so far ahead.
Scout launched.
Now they have more battleships, but we have 3 Amagis. But if you see in my previous replays, like in the last replay, I'm not sure if I'm going to put in the video because I died so hard, but I pretty much got crippled by a Fuso. So I'm in a tier 8, but a tier 6 pretty much one-shot me. I mean, I took a lot of damage from torp planes, but I had like 40,000 hit points, and he killed me in one salvo. He got 3 lucky Citadel hits on me. And yeah, I'll probably put that on here just so people can see that tiers don't matter quite as much in this game. And as far as, let me try to go over some of the different things. The R button, this thing right here, that's just your repair ability. If you get a turret knocked out or your rudder or something, it'll repair that, but it does have a cooldown. The Y one, this one here, actually will repair your ship from soft damage you've taken. And you see my little scout plane. Question I get asked is, what do the scout planes do? They just increase your view range. You cannot control them. They just get sent up, do circles, increase your spot range, and that's it. That's all there is to them. The scout planes on cruisers have a much longer duration than the battleship ones. And that's just how it is currently in game. So, see, I got a Kongo and an Amagi heading this way. Now I'm faster, or as fast as both of them, so, and I had a good spawn. Alright, you see those torpedo bombers on the minimap? Are they going to be heading towards me, is the question. Switching to the Amagi, he's the more dangerous
The enemy
threat.
team has taken the lead.
And you can shoot over mountains if you lock on target, by the way, guys. That's too short. I've got to retreat a bit so more of my team gets here. Can't take on 3 battleships at the same time. Again, because there's no replay feature currently in game, this is having to be recorded live. So if I make nonsense sometimes, because it actually requires a pretty good deal of concentration. There we go. That's a Citadel hit. Take off a nice big chunk of his health. And I'm maneuvering right now, which makes me a much harder target to hit. You see how he's just sailing straight and steady like he is? That's how you want to not sell. You don't want to sell like that. Or steam, I should say. Because you get citadeled. And being citadeled is bad. Alright, I want to get my guns over. My team is almost here. See, that Kongo's really beat up, so he's the one I'm going to target first. I'm going to get guns out of the game. And like I said, even though he's a tier 5, he's still dangerous. round out, angle away. And busted him up. Now if I can prevent him from doing the same to me. Okay, there comes the salvo. Come on, ship. Turn, 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 turn. Turn, turn, turn. There we go. It's all about the gunnery, baby. It's all about the gunnery. Gunnery and maneuvering. Gunnery and maneuvering. Now, guys, when you first start out in battleships, if you find you're not hitting at long range, get closer. Because if you're not doing damage in a battleship, you're pretty much useless. So he pretty much stopped to avoid those twerps and made himself an easy target for me. Donut hole. Come on, Amagi, turn your ship. Make sure my guns are clear. This should finish him. Come on, baby. Nope. It didn't happen. Alright, see, I'm flat onto him. Very dangerous for me. I need to angle my ship where I can be citadeled like I've been doing to that Amagi. Now this Aoba, be aware of the ships. That's pretty much a torper. He relies on his torpedoes. I need to get him out before he torpedoes me. Wow, that was horrible. He was way, way off. Okay, slow down, slow down. Should be able to avoid most of these torps. Yeah, okay. Hard right rudder. And I captured A. This Amagi has got to go. 15 kilometers. And come on, let me get my other guns on target. Come on, finish him off. Damn, almost, almost. So you see, I'm winning this fight, but we're actually losing the match because of the caps, which is like the bane of battleships. So now I'm in a bad spot between these islands. I'm going to have to show these guys my side. Full broadside at the Amagi. I think that's going to finish him. Oh no! I may have just made a critical error.
We've destroyed an enemy battleship.
Yes, I did. I ran into the island like a noob. Let's hope these guys can't shoot. Because if they can shoot, I'm in trouble. Alright, full forward, come on. Come on. Steer the ship. Want to go hard left rudder now? I should have enough time for one more broadside on this Fuso. And down he goes. That there, my friends, is how you citadel. Okay, so see he's coming to draw his guns on me. I want to angle away. Don't give him the flat part of your ship to shoot. That's dangerous. Angle away. Or towards, it doesn't matter. Just don't show him the flat. Incoming twerks. Need to slow down. Aoba, you've about annoyed me for the last time, my friend. For the last time. Okay, he's gonna get a good hit on me here. Repair. See what I mean? Because he had flat side on. My secondaries are opening up. And down he goes to see Davy Jones, baby. Alright. Cruising on. This is how you battleship, my friends. Know your angles, know your guns. Know your angles, know your guns. Okay, our team needs to get on these caps. Good night, Cleveland. Yeah, I can shoot too, buddy. I can shoot too, sir. Alright, come on. Come on with it. Say good night.
Enemy cruiser destroyed.
Hi, my name's Ironhide, and I'm kind of a big deal. Modesty is one of my strong suits. So, at 5 kills, which in Warships, guys, is like a really good match.
Our victory is in sight.
Come on, baby,
The
give me a
enemy is
shot.
about to win.
Give me a shot. Give me a shot, so alright. Now, right now, I just want to win. So, this is going to be horrible of me, but I'm going to take down the Langley. Well, if you pop back up, you get 60 points for taking out a carrier, whether it's a tier 8 or tier 6 or tier 4, like this little guy. Sorry, guy, but I don't want to risk losing.
Our team has taken the lead.
Enemy heavily damaged.
Hard to starboard, hard to starboard. Dive bombers. I'm gonna get tagged by 2. 1. Repair, heal, back in the fight. Okay, that's the match. Alright, so I made 186,000 credits, 2,400 experience. And this is what I mean about shooting, guys. It's all about the citadels. Okay? I had 5 kills, and I had 5 citadels. And it's all about aiming. So just shoot where I was shooting, and you'll do good. 180,000 damage. I fired 158 times. I hit with 65 of my shells. Believe it or not, that's actually great accuracy in gunnery for a battleship. I did 900. My secondary shells did 997 damage and 80, pretty much nothing. But that's a decent game. And damage received. I received 22,000 damage from AP, 2,000 from HE, 4,400 from bomb hits, and I could have swore I took torpedo damage, but it's not listed for some reason. So, boys and girls, this is how you Amagi. This is how you battleship. Follow the rules Ironhide sets, and I will show you the way. Anyway, if you have any questions, comments, you want any other videos, or anything I forgot about, just let me know in the comments, and let me know what you think. My overall impressions of this game, though, is it's a ton of fun. It's a really, really fun game. I mean, this is great. So I'll see you next time. And again, post anything you want to see about Warships, just let me know. I'll be happy to do a video on it. And like, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Let them see how I aim, how you should aim in this ship, in battleships or whatnot, what to expect. The more subscribers and views I get, the more videos I'll put out. You know, that shows that people enjoy the videos and whatnot, so I'll keep them coming. And I'll see you next time.